all over the globe, from the middle of deserts to the depths of jungles, and even on empty, windy plains, you'll find remnants of amazing ancient structures. Huge stones, massive walls, and grand tombs crafted by hands. We can't name any more. These blocks can weigh hundreds or even thousands of tons, shaped and put together with a skill that still impresses us thousands of years later. Yet, we often don't know who built them, why they were made, or how the ancient people pulled off these feats. Some of these structures were likely built long before the cultures we typically associate with great engineering, which raises some troubling questions about the timeline we've been taught. These sites are more than mere relics. They are puzzles left by civilizations whose abilities were far beyond what we expect for their time. But there's more to the story. It's a tale echoed in the oldest myths across nearly every culture on Earth. They speak of a massive flood. Take Mesopotamia's Epic of Gilgamesh, where the gods unleash a flood to wipe out humanity. Or the Ho people in North America, who recount stories of waters that destroyed a corrupt world. Then there are ancient Chinese tales of floods that reshaped their land, and Aboriginal Australians who tell vibrant stories of rising seas splitting their lands apart. These tales aren't just vague similarities. They are strikingly similar across cultures separated by oceans, mountains, and thousands of years. Some researchers believe these stories may reflect real events like rising sea levels and geological changes around 12,000 to 8,000 years ago. However, others point out that many traditions, including the biblical account, suggest their great flood happened later, around 2300 BC. If that's true, it implies something devastating enough to wipe out entire civilizations. And maybe these civilizations were tied together in ways we don't fully understand. Across the globe, megaliths showed bizarre similarities in size, style, and building methods, despite the vast distances between the builders. Could this indicate a once thriving global culture of megalith builders, nearly erased by a cataclysmic flood? So stick with us as we explore some of these captivating pre-flood megaliths and search for the knowledge and purpose their creators etched in stone. And remember, the visuals in our videos aren't a must-have, so whether you're tuning in closely or just listening, take a moment to relax and let the world around you slip away. Together we'll dive into the idea that the grand walls, monuments, tombs, and carvings we see today might be more than just old stones. They could be the remaining whispers from advanced cultures, lost to a major event that changed everything. Hidden away in the serene hills of Japan, there are two ancient monuments shrouded in mystery. These intriguing structures, Ishi no Hoden and Masuda no Iwafun, stand as some of Japan's greatest megalithic mysteries. Unlike the more famous sites like Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt, these remarkable stones rarely make it into documentaries or history books. Yet they challenge what we think we know about early civilizations and their skills. Let's take a closer look at the fascinating Ishi no Hoden, often called the floating stone of Hyogo Prefecture. It appears to defy gravity, seemingly floating above a small pool of water. This giant measures about 21 feet long, 18.5 feet wide, and stands 18 feet tall, weighing approximately 500 tons. To give you an idea, that's roughly the weight of 3 jumbo jets, and yet it looks perfectly balanced, held up by a small central pillar hidden by the water. When you take a closer look, the precision and craftsmanship are even more mind-boggling. The surfaces of Ishi no Hoden are incredibly smooth, with sharp, clean-cut angles that modern stonemasons would need advanced tools to replicate today. Archaeologists and historians have struggled to figure out how ancient people could carve and balance such a massive stone using primitive tools. Even more puzzling, there are no clear records or artifacts that tell us the stone's original purpose or who built it. Local legends only add to the enigma. Stories passed down through the ages suggest that this stone wasn't made by regular folks, but by something extraordinary. Stories tell of advanced beings or gods coming down from the skies. They shaped the stone with strange, supernatural tools. While these tales sound fanciful, they make us wonder if they might contain some truths from history. Could they hint at a once advanced civilization that has slipped away from our records? Not too far off, there's another ancient megalith called Masuda Noiwa, also known as the rock ship of Masuda. It's just as intriguing and shrouded in mystery. This massive granite block is nestled in Asuka, Nara Prefecture, Its shape is odd and doesn't quite fit any category we know. It's about 11 meters long, 8 meters wide, and nearly 5 meters tall, making it a striking landmark in the peaceful Japanese countryside. The actual purpose of Masuda no Iwa remains a mystery. Unlike many ancient structures linked to tombs or temples, this rock ship doesn't give us clear answers. The granite surface is carved with symmetrical grooves and rectangular dips. Some researchers think these carvings might have had practical uses, like serving as foundations or points for a bigger structure that's now gone. Others suggest they could be linked to ceremonies or hold symbolic meanings. But without solid archaeological proof, the true reason behind Masuda no Iwa stays hidden in history. What's even stranger is the lack of stone bits or debris nearby, which usually comes with big stone projects. This absence makes some experts wonder if the stone was brought here after it was carved. That thought opens up new questions, especially considering its huge weight and the basic technology available back then. Interestingly, the area around Masuda no Iwa and Ishino Hoden is rich with ancient legends discussing powerful beings or lost civilizations from knowledge that seemed far too advanced for their time. Legends talk about great teachers who came from across the sea or even descended from the skies, sharing wisdom in architecture, astronomy, farming, and medicine. Then, just like that, they disappeared into legend. In a catastrophic event often described as a huge flood or a powerful tsunami, Japan has its share of flood myths that echo tales from all over the world. One of the most captivating stories comes from the Kojiki, an ancient text written around 712 AD. It tells of a chaotic time when the gods unleashed mighty floods and storms to reshape the land. These myths are remarkably similar to flood legends from other cultures, hinting at a collective memory of great disasters. Now, if we think about the megaliths in Japan within this context, intriguing questions arise. Could the advanced building methods seen in these stones suggest that their creators belonged to an advanced civilization, wiped out by a massive flood? If that's the case, it fits right in with global flood stories, implying that ancient Japan was home to a culture whose skills and knowledge were suddenly lost. Adding to this mystery is the idea of forgotten technology, shown by similar stone structures found across the globe. Both Ishinoden and Suda no Ivona look a lot like other puzzling ancient monuments scattered around. These structures challenge easy explanations with their precise stone cutting and careful placement. From the massive polygonal walls in South America to the strange split stones in the Arabian deserts, similar techniques imply a widespread ancient grasp of megalithic building. When people think of ancient ruins, they often picture the pyramids of Egypt or the temples of Greece. But tucked away in the mountains of Peru and underwater, off the coast of Syria, are walls made from giant stones. Each stone is carefully shaped, moved, and set with a precision that feels almost eerie. These structures are more than just impressive. They're genuinely puzzling. The builders disappeared long ago, leaving no written records or explanations behind. Even today, modern engineers are amazed by their craftsmanship, unsure how ancient hands pulled off such incredible feats. Let's start our journey high in the Andes Mountains, just outside the lively city of Cusco, Peru. Here lies the ancient fortress of Siquayan, a striking stone complex that dates back hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. At first glance, it's easy to underestimate just how remarkable it really is. This place is truly amazing, but take a few steps closer and you'll see its true wonder. The fortress's walls are made from enormous limestone blocks, some weighing over 200 tons, roughly the same as 120 average cars. What's even more impressive isn't just the sheer size, it's how precisely they fit together. Each stone is snug against its neighbors, with no mortar or cement. You couldn't even slide a single piece of paper into the gaps. The stones not only lock tightly, but they also follow smooth, gentle curves along the hillside. Some of them have up to 12 different angles perfectly cut to match their neighbors. Standing in front of these colossal blocks, you can't help but wonder how the ancient builders, armed with just simple bronze and stone tools, managed to create something that would be a challenge for today's machines. Experts agree that moving and placing such massive stones would have taken incredible effort. Yet, when asked how it was done, even the most experienced researchers often just shake their heads. It's still a bit of a mystery. Local legends provide intriguing tales. Some say giants moved and shaped these stones, boasting incredible strength or mysterious powers. Others talk about ancient civilizations with skills that seem almost magical. Imagine people who could lighten or soften the stones, making it easier to position them perfectly. A few hundred kilometers northwest of Sacayan, there's another stunning site in Peru called Ollantaytambo. Nestled in the Sacred Valley, it has what's known as the Wall of the Six Monoliths. It's another jaw-dropping feat of ancient engineering. These 6 massive granite stones stand tall side by side. Each one is huge, carved from solid granite, weighing up to 50 tons each, and fitted together with astonishing precision. But the mystery gets even deeper here. These granite blocks didn't come from nearby. Archaeologists traced them to a quarry on a distant mountain, about 7 kilometers away, across tough terrain in a deep valley. Moving each stone would have meant navigating steep slopes, crossing rivers, and then hauling them uphill to where they stand now. Even today, with all our powerful machines and logistical know-how, it would still be really tough to pull off what those ancient cultures achieved. So, how did they do it? The local Ketwa people tell fascinating stories about their ancestors getting help from beings called the Viracochas. These were wise figures who came, taught skills like farming and building, then mysteriously vanish. According to their tales, those massive stones were moved using methods that might seem supernatural. While modern science might not buy into these myths, it's clear that the local legends show a deep respect for their ancestors' incredible abilities. But South America isn't the only place with ancient megalithic walls that catch our attention. Over in the Mediterranean near Syria, the ancient island city of Arwad hides another intriguing structure. Arwad is one of the oldest continuously inhabited places, going back to Phoenician times around 4,000 years ago or even more. Beneath the shallow waters around the island lies something unusual. There's a partially submerged wall made of huge limestone blocks. Divers have noted that these stones are similar in style and fit to those in Peru, tightly arranged without any mortar. Now, here's the twist. This wall is currently underwater, several meters deep in the Mediterranean Sea. This suggests there's been a significant rise in sea level since it was built, possibly linked to the massive flood events that ancient civilizations across the globe talked about. Phoenicians, who were skilled sailors and traders, didn't leave much behind to explain this underwater structure. But local stories on Arwad hint at long-lost prosperous civilizations that disappeared after devastating floods. It's both fascinating and a bit spooky to think of those ancient builders crafting this wall above water, completely unaware of the changes that were about to hit their city. Each wall Sakai Huanan, Ollantay, Tambo, and Arwad is impressive in its own right. Yet, the similarities between them spark even more curiosity. They all feature those enormous stones, perfectly cut and seamlessly fitted together without mortar, showcasing some serious craftsmanship. It's fascinating to think about the geometry, physics, and engineering knowledge these ancient builders had. Stories from the cultures around these massive structures are equally captivating. They talk about civilizations that seem to possess skills and insights beyond their own, yet mysteriously vanished, often tied to catastrophic floods. Another point to consider is the unique carvings and artistic designs found around these megaliths. Take Ollantaytambo, for example. There are stones nearby with intricate carvings that look like abstract shapes, spirals, and stylized figures. Similarly, at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, you see similar carving symbols of animals, geometric patterns, and figures that appear to be holding bags or small pouches. While people interpret these carvings in different ways, they hint at a shared cultural symbolism among ancient builders from distant lands. Could these massive walls be remnants of a network of ancient creators who exchanged ideas, symbols, or maybe even technology over great distances? While we lack direct evidence for such global connections, the similarities in technique and designs present an exciting possibility. It suggests that ancient people were more connected than we thought, trading not just goods but also ideas and skills. They left behind these mysterious structures that still puzzle us today. Let's also think about the precise celestial alignments seen at these sites. Many megaliths around the world, including the ones we're discussing, reflect a clear connection to the stars. The stones are aligned with the solstices, equinoxes, or key star positions, showcasing a sophisticated grasp of astronomy by their builders. While practical uses like tracking seasons are possible, these alignments feel deeper and more intentional, hinting at a genuine respect for cosmic events. What's certain is that these ancient walls have stood quietly through the ages, giving us a glimpse into the remarkable abilities of their unknown creators. Those massive stones, perfectly cut and moved across great distances, show us clearly that their builders were extraordinarily skilled. They make us rethink the idea that early societies were just simple and primitive. Instead, they show us that the builders of these enormous walls were clever, smart, and innovative in ways we still don't fully understand. When you stroll among the gigantic stones at places like Sakai, Waman, or look out over the waters near Rawad, you come face to face with the impressive legacy of people who were masters of stonework in ways few have matched since. Whether these builders were ancient Peruvians, Phoenicians, or some long-lost cultures, their remarkable achievements are still here today, etched in stone, sparking wonder and curiosity even after thousands of years. Now, hidden in the quiet, breezy landscape of the Golden Heights, there's a mysterious place most people don't know about. But those who find it can't help but be drawn in. It's called Rujum el-Hiri, which means stone heap of the wild cat in Arabic. This fascinating ancient site consists of huge stone circles that have quietly ruled the barren land for thousands of years. Built around 5,000 years ago, during the early Bronze Age, Rujum el-Hiri comes before many of the world's better-known ancient structures. From ground level, it looks like just a messy pile of basalt stones scattered across an open field. But when you see it from above, everything changes. From the sky, it reveals a really precise arrangement of circular stone walls, set neatly inside one another, like ripples around a stone mound at the center. The largest circle is an impressive 160 meters wide, and the whole complex is made up of more than 42,000 tons of carefully placed volcanic rock. Archaeologists think this site was really important to its builders, but the reason for its construction is still a mystery. What's especially interesting about Rujum el-Hiri is how it aligns with astronomical events. On the summer solstice, when the day is longest, the first light of dawn streams right through the entrance, lighting up the central mound. This precise alignment suggests that the ancient builders understood astronomy well and designed the structure to track the changing season, adding to the intrigue at the finds from digs inside the central mound. Archaeologists unearthed a burial chamber deep within, dating back to a time long ago, a bit later than the circles themselves. This site likely had various ceremonial roles over many years. It might have been about honoring ancestors, marking seasonal changes, or celebrating celestial events. Still, there's no clear answer as to its original purpose, leaving archaeologists and historians with more questions than solutions. The local legends around Rujum el-Hiri add to its mystery. In nearby communities, especially the Druze people, stories are told of giants that once walked the land. These legends say that these massive beings built huge structures overnight, lifting enormous stones with their bare hands. Sure, these tales might seem exaggerated now, but they mirror similar myths from cultures around the world. Think about the giants said to have constructed Stonehenge in England, or those who raised megaliths in ancient Armenia. Other local stories speak of a once advanced society here, skilled in astronomy and architecture, which mysteriously vanished without a trace. These narratives give us fascinating glimpses into how ancient peoples understood those mysterious structures left behind by forgotten cultures. What's clear is that the builders of Rujum el-Hiri were organized and knowledgeable. They coordinated large groups to accomplish impressive tasks, planning every stone's position with precision to align with celestial events. Even today, when you stand among those concentric circles under the vast sky, you can feel something special about the place. It's like an ancient link connecting us to the rhythms of nature and the stars. Though Rujum el-Hiri doesn't get much attention in popular archaeology, its presence in the Golan Heights sparks curiosity and fascination. Whether it was built by ancient astronomers, lost cultures, or those legendary giants, this impressive stone complex invites everyone who visits to ponder the mysteries of our shared past. Drifting sands and bright sunlight frame one of the world's most unusual rock formations, Al-Nasla. At first glance, it looks almost otherworldly, like something imagined by an artist rather than molded by nature. Two massive sandstone boulders stand together, divided by a strikingly straight vertical split. It's so clean that it seems as though a modern laser did the work. Each half rests elegantly on small, naturally formed bases, giving them an almost weightless look. What grabs your attention right away is the incredible precision of that cut. It stretches down for several meters, and the fracture line is perfectly straight, so sharply defined that it makes people seriously wonder how it came to be. Even geologists, who've seen their fair share of weathering and erosion can't help but admire Al Nazla's flawless appearance. Some scientists suggest natural processes like earthquakes, wind erosion, or pressure changes might explain the unusual split, but none of these theories completely satisfy the expert. The smoothness and balance of the split are just too exact to be fully attributed to nature, which keeps the mystery alive. Adding to the intrigue are the fascinating petroglyphs carved into Al Nasla's sandstone. These ancient images, thought to be thousands of years old, show various animals, figures, and abstract designs, offering a peek into the lives of early human settlers. But what's the connection between these carvings and that mysterious split? Could the storytellers of these images also have a hand in, or at least be inspired by, the remarkable geological feature next door? With such extraordinary precision, some researchers think that ancient people might have had advanced skills or tools to intentionally craft the split. That idea naturally sparks curiosity about what kind of technology they might have had at their disposal. Historical records usually suggest that people living in this desert thousands of years ago had only basic tools like stone or bronze chisels, hammers, and simple levers. Even now, cutting a stone this big with today's technology is tough and takes a lot of work. Could there have been an ancient civilization with techniques we don't even recognize today? There aren't clear historical records to answer that, but local Arabian folklore gives us some intriguing hints. Stories from the area talk about ancient tribes skilled at shaping stone effortlessly, using strange tools we can't quite understand. These tales often mix in mythical ideas, telling of beings or people with unique powers who can make stone soft or malleable. At Al Nasla, scientists are still debating how the formation came to be. Some geologists believe that ancient seismic activity created stress fractures that split the rock perfectly. Others suggest it might have been volcanic activity with heated groundwater weakening parts of the sandstone, leading to the clean break we see now. But neither explanation fully convinces the skeptics, leaving room for other ideas and discussions. It's interesting to think about what people thousands of years ago felt when they saw this strange rock formation. Did they think it was a sign of divine or supernatural forces? Did they choose this spot for petroglyphs because they saw something special in it? Ancient cultures often held unusual natural sites in high regard, finding spiritual significance in them, and Al Nasla surely stands out as extraordinary. The local Bedouin traditions add to the mystery, with stories of powerful beings or skilled artisans who roamed the land, leaving behind subtle traces like marks and monuments that served as guides or reminders of their existence. Could Al Nasla's perfectly split stones be one such deliberate marker? Its meaning has faded with time. Whatever the truth about its origin, be it completely natural, human-made, or a mix of both, the Al Nasla rock formation continues to intrigue visitors today. Tourists, historians, and scientists all venture into the harsh desert to experience this puzzling geological wonder up close. Its unique and artistic look, along with the mysteries surrounding its creation, keeps people guessing and intrigued. One day, we might uncover new findings or advanced scientific methods that will shed light on how this puzzling structure was made. But for now, Al Nasla stands quietly under the desert sun, a stone enigma, inviting everyone who sees it to think about its secrets, reflect on where it came from, and imagine the untold tales hidden within its flawlessly split surface. Next, we head to Egypt, renowned for its ancient marvels, but also home to lesser known, yet equally fascinating sites. Just behind the Temple of Seti lies a hidden underground complex known as the Oziran. Many believe this structure is even older than the earliest Egyptian dynasties. At first sight, the Oziran doesn't resemble traditional Egyptian buildings at all. It's tucked away partly underground, almost like something you'd stumble upon in an ancient lost civilization. Walking into the Oziran feels like stepping back in time to an age, even before the pyramids or the Great Sphinx. This incredible site features a series of gigantic granite pillars, all arranged perfectly around a central platform, creating a symmetrical chamber that's partially filled with groundwater. Each of these massive pillars weighs about 100 tons and is shaped and placed with remarkable accuracy. Unlike the detailed hieroglyphics and intricate carvings found in most Egyptian temples, surfaces here are smooth and simple, showcasing a stark elegance. Craftsmanship is astounding, with perfectly straight edges and sharp angles, all put together without any mortar, similar to the megalithic walls you'd find in distant places like Peru or the Mediterranean. This architectural style stands out from typical ancient Egyptian methods, while nearby temples like Setis are filled with ornate inscriptions and colourful murals. Fielding has none of that flashy decoration. Instead, it carries a minimalist sophistication, almost feeling modern in its simplicity. This striking difference has led researchers to wonder if the Osirian isn't Egyptian at all, but might have roots in an even older civilization. Historical records and archaeological finds have had a tough time pinning down when the Osirian was built. Most Egyptologists say it dates back to Pharaoh I, around 1290 to 1279 BC. But the evidence isn't crystal clear. Many researchers believe the Osirian is much older, possibly thousands of years older. They point to its unique design, construction techniques, and the extensive water erosion on its stone surfaces as proof. Notably, these erosion patterns resemble those seen on the Great Sphinx at Giza. That suggests it may have faced significant flooding or heavy rains long before Egypt's known dynasties. This leads to some interesting questions about what the climate was like in that region thousands of years before we usually think about large-scale Egyptian civilization. Egyptian mythology adds another intriguing twist to the story of the Osirian. Legend has it that the site is dedicated to Osiris, the god of the afterlife and rebirth. The ancient Egyptians believed he was the one who brought civilization, wisdom, and culture to humanity. Local traditions suggest the Osirian was designed to symbolize Osiris's tomb, connecting it deeply to ancient myths about a golden age when gods mingled with humans. Interestingly, Egyptians claimed that many of their sacred sites, especially those linked to Osiris, weren't originally built by them. They talked about inheriting these places from an older civilization. They described this culture as highly advanced and closely tied to divine beings or gods. These legends mention the Shamsu, or the followers of Horus, who were semi-divine rulers of Egypt before recorded history began. Ancient texts say the Shamsu were responsible for creating rich cultural traditions, impressive architecture, and complex spiritual practices. So could the Osirian be one of these legendary structures passed down from that time? Its architecture certainly matches what the ancient Egyptians said about these earlier divine buildings. Massive scale, precise craftsmanship, and construction methods that look nothing like anything from the traditional dynastic era. This raises some captivating questions about Egypt's timeline and where its earliest monuments really come from. Building on the mystery, researchers have found that the Orient shows similar architectural features and advanced building techniques like those at other ancient sites around the world. Think of Peru's Sakai Woman or Turkey's Göbekli Tepe. These common elements suggest that there might have been shared knowledge or methods long ago, possibly even before the histories we know about these cultures began. Despite growing interest from archaeologists and the modern research efforts, the Osirian still remains a mystery. Water fills its chambers, making it tough to excavate and study up close, keeping its secrets hidden beneath a thin layer of water that's been there since ancient times. Nowadays, people are still amazed by its striking beauty and powerful presence. It sparks the imagination but doesn't give away its true origins. Local guides and historians around Abydos talk about the Osirian with a blend of respect and curiosity, sharing tales that have been passed down through the years, hinting at lost civilizations and divine beings that once walked among us. Even in today's Egypt, these stories resonate, feeling less like myths and more like echoes from a long-lost reality preserved in tales. Questions about who built the Osirian remain unanswered, adding complexity to our understanding of ancient Egyptian history. As archaeologists keep digging and exploring, let's hope that future discoveries under the sands and waters near Abydos will finally shed light on the true age and origin of this captivating structure. Now we leave Egypt's sun-drenched landscapes and head northwest across the Mediterranean Sea to a calm spot in southern Spain on the Iberian Peninsula. Here, near the town of Trigueros, lies an amazing ancient structure called the Dolmen d'Oto. This seemingly simple yet impressive monument adds another piece to the global puzzle of ancient stone builders, whose creations continue to intrigue archaeologists and visitors. Built about 5,000 years ago, the Dolmen d'Oto ranks as one of the largest and most significant megalithic tombs in Spain. From the outside, it looks straightforward, a big mound of earth covering a stone-lined passage. But once you step inside, a world of wonder opens up. The corridor stretches nearly 21 meters long and leads you deep into a mysterious chamber formed by huge upright stones. Each stone slab tells a story of its own. Each stone was thoughtfully selected and carefully positioned, with some stones weighing several tons. You can feel right away this isn't just any typical building. The real magic of Dom and Dotto lies in the carvings that adorn its stone walls. As you stroll through the dimly lit interior, you come across detailed patterns, spirals, abstract designs, and artistic figures carved right into the stone. These symbols seem to have a consistent theme, but their exact meanings are still a mystery. Are they just pretty decorations? Maybe they symbolize starry events or ancient maps pointing to sacred places nearby. Scholars are fascinated and continue to explore their depth and detail. One of the captivating features of Dolmen Dotto is its careful alignment with the stars. Archaeologists studying this tomb found that its entrance faces perfectly east. Each year during the equinoxes, those 2 days when day and night are equal, the rising sun shines through the passageway, lighting up the inner chamber and the ancient carvings. This phenomenon hints that the builders had a solid grasp of astronomy, aligning their creation with specific solar moments. The skill it took to achieve such precise astronomical alignments 5,000 years ago is impressive. It shows there was careful planning, sharp observation, and a profound cultural connection to solar events. While we're unsure of the exact reason for this alignment, many experts think it had ceremonial purposes, possibly marking seasonal changes, guiding farming practices, or even helping the living connect with their ancestors during significant times of the year. Now, leaving the sunny warmth of southern Spain, we head north across lush landscapes and beautiful waters to the emerald fields of Ireland. Here, in the peaceful Boone Valley, lies another ancient wonder, the New Grange tomb, built around 3200 BC. It predates Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid of Giza, giving us yet another look into the advanced abilities of ancient builders. At first, New Grange looks like a big grassy mound, but as you get closer, it starts to reveal its intricate design. Surrounded by giant stone pillars, New Grange boasts a striking white quartz wall that's been restored to look like it did ages ago. Large, rounded granite boulders line the outside, adding to its impressive presence. This tomb spans over 80 meters wide and towers about 13 meters high, standing proudly in the Irish landscape. But the real magic of New Grange is found inside. Visitors step through a narrow, stone-lined passage that leads nearly 19 meters into the heart of the tomb. At the end of this passage is a chamber shaped like a cross, featuring 3 alcoves. Each of these spaces likely once held ancient bones or ceremonial items. However, what really catches your eye is the incredible carved artwork on the walls. Spirals, circles, zigzag patterns, and geometric designs cover almost every inch of the massive stone slabs. These symbols closely resemble those found at far-off locations like Dolmen Dotto, suggesting cultural ties that stretch over vast distances and many years. Like Dolmen Dotto, New Grange has a fascinating astronomical feature. Every year during the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, something truly special happens. At sunrise, a narrow beam of sunlight shines through an opening above the entrance known as the roof box, which the ancient builders perfectly placed. This beam slowly travels down the passageway, reaching the inner chamber and lighting it up brilliantly for a brief moment. For the rest of the year, that space stays dark without any direct sunlight. This alignment didn't happen by chance. It took advanced skills in observation, calculations, and engineering to get the roof box and chamber position just right. This alignment was likely very significant to the builders, symbolizing renewal and the return of light after the long winter darkness. Local legends add even more intrigue to the story. Myths speak of an ancient race called the Tuatha De Danann, a mystical group believed to have incredible abilities. According to these tales, the Tuatha De Danann were skilled in magic, craftsmanship, and in astronomy, easily creating monumental structures like New Grange. Legends surrounding these ancient sites reveal a real sense of wonder and respect for their impressive design, adding to their lasting mystery. Unlike other old structures that spark debates about their purposes, most archaeologists agree that New Grange was primarily built as a tomb or a ceremonial space. It connected the living with their ancestors during important cosmic events. Even now, thousands of people scramble each year for a chance to witness the winter solstice light show, eager to feel the moment just as the original builders envisioned. Both Dolmen Dotto in Spain and New Grange in Ireland showcase remarkable skill and planning from ancient societies. Though they are miles apart, their creators had similar practices, including precise alignments with the stars, detailed carvings, and massive stone builds. We may never fully grasp all the reasons behind these structures, but their very existence tells us a lot about the creativity and intelligence of the people who made them. These two incredible sites still stand tall today, sparking awe and curiosity. Whether it's the sunrise during the equinox in Spain or the winter solstice in Ireland, each site serves as a reminder of our deep, eternal fascination with celestial happenings and our urge to create lasting symbols that connect generations. Now, shifting from the gentle hills of Ireland's New Grange, we head southeast to the rugged beauty of Lebanon, to a site that has drawn visitors for centuries, Baalbek. Nestled in the fertile Bekaa Valley, Baalbek is home to some of the most stunning megalithic stones ever carved by human hands. Yet after years of investigation, how these ancient builders achieved such marvels continues to baffle us. As you approach the Baalbek complex, you can't help but feel tiny next to its massive scale. The site mainly features Roman temples, built around 2,000 years ago, including the Temple of Jupiter, the Temple of Bacchus, and the Temple of Venus. Each one is impressive, but beneath these Roman structures lies an even more astonishing foundation made of gigantic stone blocks. These blocks are so large and perfectly arranged they make even Roman engineering look modest. This incredible foundation is known as the Trilithon, made up of 3 massive limestone blocks, each weighing about 800 tons. To grasp the weight of these stones, picture this: each one is like 2 fully loaded jumbo jets. And what's really mind-blowing is that these stones weren't just tossed into place. They were meticulously cut, shaped, and transported with incredible care. The way they fit together is so precise that not a drop of mortar was needed. After all these years, you still can't slip even a piece of paper into the gaps. And while the Trilithon stones are amazing, there's also the stone known as the Pregnant Woman, still resting in a nearby quarry. This massive block weighs a staggering 1,000 tons, making it one of the largest single carved stones ever made by humans. Just thinking about how they planned to move such a colossal piece, let alone set it into place, can baffle today's engineers. Even with our strongest cranes and transport gear, shifting stones this big would be a huge challenge. So it brings up an intriguing question. How did ancient folks, armed only with what we think were basic tools and simple machines, pull off such a feat? The stones from Baalbek didn't just get dragged a short distance. The quarry is almost a kilometre away, meaning builders had to lift these giants and navigate them over tough, uneven ground. Over the years, historians and archaeologists have tossed around different theories. Some suggest elaborate setups of rollers, ropes, ramps, and knots of workers could have done the trick. Others think that just wouldn't work, given the sheer size and weight. Modern tests with ancient tools have faced problems and haven't been able to achieve in a bit of the movement needed, often running into issues with friction, terrain, and manpower. But there's also local Lebanese folklore that paints a more colourful picture. Tales passed down through generations speak of giant beings who once roamed this valley, boasting immense strength and unique powers. According to these stories, these giants could effortlessly lift massive stones, placing them into foundations and walls like a child stacking blocks. While those giant legends may seem far-fetched today, it's a captivating glimpse into how ancient people might have viewed their world. Many people truly thought these tales were rooted in real history. Across the globe, you'll find cultures that talk about giants, or large human-like beings credited with building grand cestus. In Lebanon, local folklore describes these giants as semi-divine ancestors or great heroes who effortlessly shaped their land, leaving behind impressive monuments like Baalbek. Historical writings provide fascinating details too. Ancient Greek and Roman authors who visited the area ages ago were blown away by Baalbek's massive stones. In the 1st century AD, Roman historian Pliny the Elder noted how stunning the temple foundations were and speculated that unknown ancient peoples or mythical figures might have built them. It's interesting to point out that while Roman architects were skilled at engineering, they typically used smaller stones cemented together. But at Baalbek, the gigantic stones clearly came long before the Romans. When they arrived, they recognized the strength of those old foundations and built upon them. However, the Romans didn't leave any notes explaining who created the massive platform under their temples. Today, archaeologists generally think the Trilithon stones at Baalbek belong to an earlier Phoenician or Canaanite civilization, possibly around 3,000 or 4,000 years old. But these ancient peoples, according to what we know, had fairly basic technology and didn't have advanced tools for engineering. This leads to an intriguing question. If neither the Romans nor earlier documented societies could have moved these stones, then who did? Visiting Baalbek now is still breathtaking. Tourists and scholars walk among these giant stones, amazed by their immense size and craftsmanship. Researchers and engineers are on a mission to uncover more, hoping new findings or technologies will shed light on how these ancient builders pulled off such incredible accomplishments. Meanwhile, the local community takes great pride in the significant heritage site. Lebanese guides share the ancient stories of giants with visitors, blending humor and respect, keeping the spirit of their ancestors' tales alive while embracing the mystery. What adds to the mystery is the incredible precision seen not just in how these stones are placed, but also in how they're cut. A close look shows surfaces that seem to be perfectly machined, instead of just roughly carved by hand. Some researchers think that the ancient builders might have used techniques or tools that we don't even know about. Today, maybe special chisels, diamond-tipped instruments, or some kind of leveraging device. But so far, excavations in Baalbek haven't uncovered any clear tools to explain how the stones were shaped so flawlessly. One thing is clear: whoever constructed Baalbek's massive foundational stones had a deep understanding of stonework and remarkable organizational skills. Just imagine the planning involved in shaping, moving, and placing each huge block. It would have taken a well-coordinated team. They must have had expert knowledge of physics and engineering. And if we entertain local legends for a moment, maybe they even had some superhuman strength. The sheer scale, engineering precision, and ongoing mystery of Baalbek stones continue to capture our imaginations. They serve as a real reminder of human, or maybe even superhuman, ambition, skill, and determination. Whether it's due to ancient engineering brilliance or mythical giants, Baalbek's megalithic foundation stands as one of the world's most puzzling monuments, quietly inviting visitors to explore its ancient secrets. Moving on from Baalbek's gigantic stones, we now travel across the Atlantic, deep into North America. Here, far from Egypt's famous pyramids or Greece's ancient temples, we find monumental earthworks that are just as fascinating, but made entirely from soil and clay. These amazing creations by North America's ancient peoples are known as earth mounds. Their tremendous size, intricate designs, and astronomical alignments still leave archaeologists in awe. One of the most remarkable earthworks in North America is Ohio's famed Serpent Mound. Stretching over 400 meters long, this massive effigy mound gracefully coils along a gently sloping hillside, resembling a serpent with its jaws wide open, seemingly swallowing an oval shape. This oval is often thought to represent the sun, an egg, or perhaps the idea of renewal or rebirth, constructed by shaping soil and clay. The Serpent Mound remains one of the world's largest effigy mounds, impressive in both its scale and precision. What makes Serpent Mound so captivating is, or how it looks, but the way it lines up with the stars. Researchers have taken a close look at the mound and found that its curves match up perfectly with key solar and lunar events. For instance, the serpent's head points right at where the sun sets on the summer solstice. Its coils match up with the equinoxes and lunar phases. This level of precision hints at an incredible understanding of astronomy by its ancient builders, who must have spent a lot of time observing and noting the heavens. But Serpent Mound isn't alone. Across the American Midwest and Southeast, there are thousands of similar earth structures like geometric mounds and burial sites, along with animal figures and mythical beings. One standout is the Cahokia Mounds in Illinois. This was once a huge city that housed tens of thousands of people over 1,000 years ago, featuring Monk's Mound, the largest earthen structure in North America. Standing nearly 30 meters high and sprawled over 14 acres, it dwarfs many modern buildings. The city was designed by ancient builders who aligned everything with astronomical events, creating a landscape tied to cosmic cycles. In Ohio, the Newark earthworks exemplifies ancient North American skills in aligning structures with the stars. Built thousands of years ago by the Hopewell culture, this site once covered around 4 square miles, making it the biggest geometric earthwork complex ever made. It features circles and octagons that align perfectly with lunar cycles, tracking the moon's movements over an incredible 18.6-year cycle. Achieving such accuracy took generations of careful watching and planning. So, how did these early North American societies gain such advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering to build such precise earthworks? Indigenous traditions offer some intriguing answers. Many Native American communities share rich oral histories about advanced ancestors who had deep insights into astronomy, engineering, and spirituality. These stories honor that ancient wisdom. Long ago, previous peoples passed down sacred knowledge and skills, including how to create massive ceremonial structures that align with the stars, the sun, and the moon. Tribes like the Cherokee and Shawnee share tales of ancestors who built earthworks to honor celestial happenings or as meaningful spiritual symbols. They taught their descendants how to live in harmony with nature's rhythms. These teachings highlight a strong connection between the land, the sky, and spiritual practices, preserved over generations through rituals and storytelling. An interesting thing about these indigenous stories is how they often talk about earlier peoples who seem to have vanished, leaving behind only their grand earthworks as silent witnesses to their existence. This suggests that there's been a continuous thread of shared knowledge passed down orally despite the original builders disappearing or moving away. When archaeologists dig into these ancient sites, they seldom find written records, relying instead on careful analysis of artifacts and building methods to piece together these societies. Even though these cultures had advanced engineering skills and understood astronomy, they entrusted their knowledge to memory, rituals, and stories. Today, those earthworks still hold significant spiritual and cultural meaning for Native American tribes, who feel a strong connection to these ancient places. Indigenous communities are key in protecting and interpreting these mounds, recognizing them as sacred spaces that link the past, present, and future. Visitors at sites like Serpent Mound, Cahokia, or Newark earthworks often find themselves in quiet awe, imagining the ancient people who once gathered there to observe solstices, equinoxes, and lunar events. While archaeologists and astronomers are amazed by the precise alignments and calculations behind these constructions, the earthworks serve as a lasting reminder of a deep human need to connect with the cosmos. As we look ahead, the North American Earth Mounds and Serpent Mound stand as timeless testaments to ancient creativity, observation, and rich cultural heritage. Monuments crafted not from stone but from the earth itself, still standing strong, still capturing our curiosity, and still hiding countless secrets beneath their grassy tops. Now we're heading south again, deep into the rugged highlands of Peru. Here, looking over the chilly blue waters of Lake Umayu near Puno, you'll find one of South America's most mysterious archaeological sites, Silustani. Known for its eye-catching stone towers called cholpas, this fascinating complex quietly demands attention. These impressive cylindrical towers, built from large, expertly cut stones, rise high above the windswept landscape. Some reach nearly 40 feet tall, all crafted into perfect circular shapes. As you get closer, it becomes obvious. These are no ordinary ruins. The craftsmanship is incredible. The stones are smooth and shaped just right, fitting together tightly without the need for mortar, similar to other ancient wonders like Sacsayhuaman or Ollantaytambo. In fact, the precision at Silustani rivals that of the finest ancient masonry found anywhere in the world. But these remarkable towers weren't just for show or ceremonies. Archaeologists think they were originally built as burial towers for important leaders or priests. Inside many of these chulpas, mummies were carefully wrapped and placed in fetal positions, surrounded by offerings like pottery, food, and valuable items for their journey in the afterlife. Still, a puzzling question lingers. Why construct these burial towers with such incredible precision and care? One standout feature of the Silustani chulpas is their unique building technique. Unlike other structures made from simply stacked stones, the chulpas use massive, finely carved blocks set at slight inward angles. This intentional tapering makes these towers remarkably stable, allowing them to withstand centuries of earthquakes and tough weather. It really shows the builders' deep understanding of engineering. Adding another layer to the story, local indigenous traditions tell fascinating tales. According to legends passed down through the ages, these impressive stone towers weren't built by just any humans. Instead, stories tell of ancient giants known as Gentiles. There was once a powerful civilization living in the highlands. These people were said to be taller, stronger, and smarter than most of their neighbors. They easily constructed towering structures, hoisting heavy stones into place without much effort. Today, tales of giants may sound far-fetched, but it's intriguing how many of these stories exist in local traditions. Across Andean cultures, the idea of a more advanced civilization that vanished suddenly, leaving behind incredible works, is a common theme. Indigenous groups in Peru, like the Quetta and Aymara peoples, tell similar tales of ancestors with remarkable skills whose societies seem to disappear after catastrophic events, often linked to massive floods or other disasters. Fascinatingly, research around Lake Umayo hints at significant floods in the area long ago. Geological evidence shows that water levels fluctuated a lot, suggesting there were times when lake shores rose quickly, possibly submerging entire communities. Could such events have driven these advanced builders away, or even wiped them out, leaving only their mysterious stone towers behind as proof of their existence? Cholpas, these towering structures, continue to intrigue archaeologists and historians alike. Investigating their design reveals clever ventilation and drainage systems that kept the insides suitable for preserving human remains. This points to careful and intentional construction. The fact that these towers have stood tall through numerous earthquakes and harsh conditions highlights the amazing skills of their creators. Today, visitors at Silistani wander beneath these tall stone edifices, soaking in their enigmatic vibe and pondering the lost civilization that built them. With the stunning backdrop of Lake Amayo, the Cholpas remain strong reminders of a people whose stories live on in whispers and through their incredible stone architecture. As modern archaeologists dig deeper into Silistani's mysteries, we might one day learn more about these builders and what happened to them. Until then, these amazing cylindrical towers spark curiosity, standing tall over the ancient land, reminding us of the many secrets of our past still waiting to be found. Now let's travel far across the Pacific to the rich, ancient landscapes of eastern China. Hidden beneath the peaceful countryside of Xinjiang province, near the village of Longyu, are astonishing underground chambers that just came to light recently. Known as the Longyu Caves, these incredible sites are one of China's biggest archaeological mysteries. They're massive, and strangely, there are no historical records about who built them. Back in 1992, local villagers drained what they thought were natural ponds and stumbled upon these gigantic, intricately carved spaces right under their feet. Can you imagine their surprise? Since then, at least 24 caves have been discovered, all carefully carved into solid siltstone. But even today, we're still not sure how many more remain hidden. Researchers believe there could be even more waiting to be found. Walking into these caves for the first time is breathtaking. Each chamber is expansive, some as big as a cathedral, with towering ceilings held up by massive stone pillars carved straight from the rock. Just think about the effort it took to create even one of these rooms. It's mind-boggling. To carve dozens of them means a huge, organized operation, likely involving hundreds or even thousands of skilled workers over many years. The walls and ceilings feature precise, intentional patterns marked by evenly spaced grooves that are expertly crafted. This level of detail hints at a skill and organization we rarely see in ancient underground work, yet, puzzlingly, no one knows how or why these caves were made. No tools, pottery, or artifacts have been discovered that could shed light on their builders. One fascinating part of the Longyu Caves is how sound travels within them. Visitors often comment on how clearly sounds echo in these chambers, creating perfect reverberations that fill the vast spaces. This suggests sound may have had a significant role in the cave's original use. Could these caves have been used for ceremonies or rituals where voices, music, or chants were meant to resonate through the space? The caves hold more mystery with their intricate carvings. You'll find detailed reliefs, symbols, and abstract designs across the walls, columns, and ceilings. These artworks don't match the usual Chinese styles seen at other archaeological sites. Instead, they feature unique geometric shapes, spirals, waves, angular forms that might represent stories or ideas that modern scholars still don't fully understand. The skillful craftsmanship suggests these carvings were significant, not just decorative, likely tied to spiritual beliefs or cultural values. The fact that we have no historical records about the Lu Caves makes understanding their background even tougher. Ancient Chinese historians were known for meticulous record-keeping, documenting major construction projects and cultural milestones. Yet it's strange that no Chinese texts, documents or inscriptions mention these astonishing caves or who built them. This gap has piqued the interest of archaeologists, historians, and curious visitors, leading to questions about why such a remarkable achievement went unrecorded. Some researchers think the Long U caves could be older than we first thought. Geological estimates suggest they might be around 2,000 years old, putting their creation in the time of China's Qin or Han dynasties, which were times of great technological progress. However, these periods are well documented, raising another question. If they were built during these times, why didn't anyone write about them? Local folklore provides some intriguing clues, though not many solid answers. Villagers speak of ancient people or legendary ancestors who constructed underground shelters in dangerous times, but these stories are often vague and don't clarify who built the caves or why they were essential. Did ancient workers, people use torches or lanterns to light up their work, right? So you'd think there'd be signs of soot and smoke. But surprisingly, none have been found. That just adds to the mystery of how these huge, dark chambers were lit during their construction. Did the builders have some secret lighting techniques? Or maybe they used special methods to carve in the dark? Today, the long caves attract visitors from all over the globe. When you step inside their vast spaces, it's hard not to admire the detailed craftsmanship, the incredible acoustics, and the mysterious symbols on the walls. Yet, even after years of study and exploration, the caves still keep their secrets close. Archaeologists, geologists, and historians frequently visit, using cutting-edge tools like laser scanning and ground-penetrating radar, all in hopes of finding more clues. For now, the Long U caves remain one of ancient China's biggest mysteries. Their discovery shakes up what we think we know about early civilizations and highlights what we're still trying to understand until we find some solid evidence. Both visitors and researchers can only wonder about the unknown builders who carved these stunning underground chambers, leaving behind a marvel that continues to amaze anyone who walks through. Now, let's cross the Pacific Ocean, traveling from the Long Caves to a distant volcanic island, Easter Island. Locally called Rapa Nui, this isolated spot is thousands of kilometers from any other inhabited place. It's home to some fascinating monuments, like the famous Moai statues. Scattered across Easter Island are nearly 900 giant stone figures known as Moai. These are carved from solid volcanic rock and come in different sizes. Many stand impressively tall, averaging about 4 meters and weighing up to 14 tons. The biggest Moai ever attempted, called Elegante, is still partly carved at the Rano Raraku quarry. If it had been finished, it would have reached around 21 meters tall and weighed over 250 tons. What really stands out to anyone seeing the Moai is the incredible craftsmanship. Each figure was skillfully shaped from volcanic tuff, which is a relatively soft rock. Despite the precision needed in carving, the Moai statues are easily recognizable. Their faces sport deep brows, long noses, and carefully molded lips. What really sets them apart are the large eyes, originally inlaid with coral and obsidian for a piercing gaze. But many of these inlays have vanished over time. Carving the statues was just the start. After shaping these massive figures, the next challenge was moving them, often for several kilometers from the quarry to their ceremonial sites called ayus along the coast. The exact way the Rapa Nui people managed this remains a captivating mystery. Many Moai stand far from where they were created, positioned on stone platforms facing away from the ocean. Just moving them across rough ground would have been a huge task, even for today's standards. Many theories have been put forward to explain how they were transported. Some archaeologists believe the islanders used wooden sledges and log rollers, dragging the moai with ropes. Yet, this would have needed a lot of timber, which is not easy to find on Easter Island. Another compelling idea rooted in local legend is that the statues walked across the island. Some researchers have tested this idea and found that it might actually be possible to shimmy the statues back and forth, making them appear to walk. But even with some positive experiments, the true method is still up for debate among historians and archaeologists. The islanders have their own stories, suggesting that the Moai were brought to life by spiritual forces, moving of their own accord through divine help. While mythical, these tales highlight how awe-inspiring the transport of these statues seemed to the locals. For generations, their ancestors upheld a strong tradition of honoring their ancestors, believing these giant stone figures symbolized significant chieftains and guardians watching over their families. What adds to the intrigue of Easter Island is its tale of cultural decline, a quick and dramatic fall that people still argue about. Archaeological findings indicate that at one time, Easter Island was home to a vibrant society of perhaps 10,000 to 15,000 people. People expertly farmed the land, fished, and established strong networks to create and transport the Moai statues. But at some point in the 17th or 18th century, everything changed. Archaeological findings from that time show signs of conflict, dwindling resources, and construction on the Moai stopping abruptly. Many unfinished statues lie abandoned in quarries as if their builders vanished without a trace or just gave up. The island's population dropped sharply, and a once thriving society broke apart into smaller, struggling groups. Researchers point to environmental stress as a reason for this sudden downfall. They highlight the misuse of resources, especially the island's limited trees, which were crucial for transport and farming. As deforestation worsened, soil erosion took a toll, leading to poor crop yields. It became harder for the islanders to keep up their way of life and massive building projects. But some experts believe that environmental issues alone can't explain how quickly everything fell apart. Recent geological studies have uncovered something intriguing. By examining sediment layers, researchers found signs that Easter Island faced extreme weather events, drought, storms, or even tsunamis caused by distant seismic activity. Such sudden natural disasters could have drastically shaken the island's society, speeding up its decline. Interestingly, local legends talk about past devastating events, including huge waves that wiped out coastal villages. These stories are woven into Rapa Nui oral history, serving as vivid reminders of their ancestors' vulnerability to nature's might. Today, when visitors stroll among the quiet rows of Moai, they can't help but feel a deep connection to an ancient culture that once prospered on this isolated island. Many statues still look inland, perhaps holding the secrets of how they were carved and moved, and what led to their creator's disappearance. In southeastern Turkey, a land rich in history and intrigue, there's a quiet hilltop that overlooks sweeping fertile fields. This is Göbekli Tepe, one of the most astonishing finds in archaeology, fundamentally changing how we view the onset of civilization. The name Göbekli means potbelly hill in Turkish. At first glance, it looks like just a gentle mound surrounded by farmland. But beneath that humble surface sits an incredible ancient site built almost 12,000 years ago. To give you some context, Göbekli Tepe is about 7,000 years older than Stonehenge and over 6,000 years older than the Great Pyramid in Egypt. When archaeologists first discovered it, the findings were almost unbelievable. They unearthed massive circular enclosures made from huge limestone pillars. Many of these pillars are like giant T-shaped columns, some reaching nearly 20 feet tall and weighing up to 20 tons each. What strikes you right away isn't just their size, it's the stunning detail carved into these stones. You'll find intricate depictions of animals like foxes, vultures, snakes, and lions, all executed with artistic skill that historians didn't think possible for such an ancient time. One particularly interesting pillar shows a stylized figure that appears to carry a small object resembling a handbag. This symbol pops up in carvings from other ancient cultures in places as far-flung as Mesopotamia and Central America. The consistent appearance of this handbag motif across different civilizations has fascinated researchers. It raises questions: were these symbols just a coincidence, or could people from different continents have shared ideas or symbols through ancient communication networks? The mystery grows when you look at how Göbekli Tepe was built. Its creators not only carved and transported these enormous pillars, but also stood them upright in carefully designed structures. Building these enclosures required sophisticated planning and a lot of teamwork, hinting at levels of organization and collaboration that we didn't think hunter-gatherer societies could achieve. Plus, there's no evidence that Göbekli Tepe was ever a place where people lived. There aren't any traces of long-term living, cooking fires, or everyday tools at the site. Researchers think it was a ceremonial center, possibly the oldest temple known to man. It was a place where people from different areas gathered from time to time, likely for rituals, celebrations, or community events linked to nature's rhythms. What's interesting is that after being used for centuries, Göbekli Tepe was intentionally buried under layers of earth and rubble around 8,000 BC. This act preserved it surprisingly well. Why did ancient people choose to bury it like this? It's unclear, but some experts think it might have been a way to protect the site or to mark the end of an important cultural period. Göbeklik isn't alone. Recently, other exciting sites have been found in the same part of Turkey, like Karahepi and Nali Kare. They share Göbek's architectural style and symbolic carvings. Karhipi, just about 35 kilometers east, has stunning T-shaped pillars and circular enclosures. This suggests that these sites were part of a larger cultural movement or network spreading through the area. Nali Kare was discovered a bit earlier, but is now underwater due to a dam project. It also has detailed carvings and large pillars that match Göbekli Tepe's style. These connections show that the people in this region likely shared similar religious practices and cultural ideas, spreading knowledge and symbols over wide distances. Adding to this idea of ancient connections is the way some symbols appear at many distant sites around the world. Take the serpent featured at Göbekli. It shows up in ancient symbolism everywhere, from North America's serpent mound to temples in Southeast Asia. Birds, especially vultures and eagles with similar designs, also appear at Göbekli, just like they do in Mesoamerican and Near Eastern art. This hints at a common link to the sky or spiritual realms. These repeating symbols suggest a fascinating idea of a shared ancient symbolism, almost like a cultural language spanning across continents. Although traditional historians doubt there was direct contact between far-flung ancient cultures, the striking similarities in their symbols make you wonder. Researchers believe that different cultures might have created similar symbols because they all experienced the same natural events, like watching the stars or noticing changes in the weather. But things get a bit trickier when we look closely at the astronomical alignments. Some structures at Göbekli Tepe line up perfectly with specific star constellations. This suggests that the builders had advanced skills in astronomy. They weren't just casually stargazing, they were meticulously tracking the movements of celestial bodies over time. This shows that these ancient people had a deep understanding of the world around them. When visitors walk through Göbekli Tepe today, they can't help but be amazed by the massive pillars, the craftsmanship, and the mysterious symbols carved into the stone. Ongoing digs are continually revealing new structures and carvings, slowly piecing together the rich history of this fascinating site. Still, many big questions linger. Who built Göbekli and its related sites like Karahantepe and Nali? What kinds of rituals or ceremonies took place there? And why were they buried so carefully and left behind? Local legends from this part of Turkey might give us some clues. They tell of ancient ancestors with incredible skills and wisdom who taught their descendants about the stars, farming, and spirituality. Then these wise people vanished, leaving only puzzling monuments behind. These stories, while mythical, sound a lot like tales from cultures all over the world, each speaking of a lost golden age when advanced knowledge was widespread. Now, after exploring these ancient wonders at Göbekli Tepe and nearby sites, it's clear that our planet hides countless stories from forgotten civilization. As we wander through stone circles and observe precise astronomical alignments, the question pops up. Could these monuments be remnants of advanced societies that disappeared, perhaps due to catastrophic floods thousands of years ago? To grasp this idea better, we should take a quick look at the geological and climate changes that swept across the Earth between about 10,000 and 5,000 BC. Our planet has gone through some major changes, moving out of the last ice age. As those massive ice sheets melted away, the seas rose quickly, sometimes flooding large coastal areas in the blink of an eye. Studies show that global sea levels jumped over 120 meters, enough to reshape entire continents, sink land, and change human civilization for good. This wasn't a slow change, it happened through a series of dramatic events, causing extensive flooding in just a few generations. Coastal regions that were once bustling with life, rich in resources, and perfect for farming quickly disappeared under the rising waters, forcing entire communities to move inland. Could these sudden floods be why so many ancient cultures around the world tell stories of massive water disasters in their legends? Interestingly, underwater archaeological finds back these ideas up. Off the coast of Japan's Yononi Island, divers found structures that look like they could be from an ancient settlement or a ceremonial site. Similarly, near India's coast, ruins like those at Dwarka reveal impressive architecture that existed long before history was documented. These submerged structures suggest that rising sea levels wiped out once thriving areas, possibly inhabited by advanced civilizations, whose histories are now lost beneath the ocean. The idea of an ancient civilization spread across continents and oceans might seem wild, but think about the many architectural and symbolic similarities found among far-off ancient sites. There are consistent signs of complex astronomical alignments and advanced building techniques, plus repeated symbols like spirals and animal designs. Even those strange handbag carvings pop up everywhere, from Göbekli Tepe to ancient Central America, hinting at common cultural ideas that could have come from a single ancient source or widespread exchange. Some researchers even suggest the existence of a global civilization, one that reached great heights before being suddenly disrupted or destroyed by environmental disasters. Some experts, along with those outside traditional academic circles, believe that remnants of an ancient civilization have impacted later societies. They think this civilization left behind bits of knowledge, symbols, and structures found all over the world. Mainstream archaeology tends to be cautious about the idea of a global civilization, but new discoveries keep shaking things up. Innovations in underwater archaeology, satellite imagery, and geological studies are unveiling ancient sites that were once hidden beneath the seas or thick layers of earth and plants. Each find adds weight to the theory that a massive global flood played a big role in shaping early human societies, changing their landscapes, pushing people to move, and altering their histories forever. Plus, the stories from various cultures seem to back up the idea of a shared memory of catastrophic floods. Think about it, Mesopotamia has the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Bible tells of Noah's flood, and indigenous tales in Australia, China, and North America talk about similar events. Nearly every ancient culture remembers a time when entire civilizations were washed away, leaving a handful of survivors to pass on fragments of their lost knowledge, technologies, and symbols. Could these legends hold true accounts of real events? Could ancient storytellers have preserved memories of disasters that wiped out whole societies, changed the direction of humanity, and left behind only stone monuments? While we may not have solid proof yet, the tale woven by global myths lines up interestingly with scientific findings of major flooding at the end of the Ice Age. What we do know for sure is that ancient civilizations had remarkable skills and deep knowledge in areas like astronomy, engineering, and art. Places like Göbekli Tepe, the Moai statues on Easter Island, the towering walls of Sacsayhuaman, and submerged ruins around the globe highlight our incredible capacity for creativity and resilience in the face of environmental challenges. Perhaps the true value in exploring these theories of lost civilizations and global floods is not about proving or disproving them, but about staying open to new discoveries, questioning what we think we know, and embracing the mystery still woven into our shared history. Our history is much more intricate and connected than we usually think. The stories we've discovered on this journey across different places and cultures spark our curiosity and urge us to keep exploring. There's still so much hidden beneath our oceans, in the sands, in the forests, and lost in time. Thanks for watching. We want to hear your thoughts. Which site caught your attention the most? Do you think global flooding really changed ancient civilizations? Or do you have another theory? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell for more dives into history's biggest mysteries. Until next time, keep being curious.